morning. It's Jonathan Barratt with the morning debrief for the 18th of February. Quite a good night last night, and a lot of news too, which was really interesting. I guess the main thing we had there was industrial production and new housing starts, all very positive and showing that the trend, or that the economy is actually getting out of the recessions we've had, and it looks like that recovery is actually gaining a little bit of steam. So everything quite positive on that front. The Dow was up a little bit. US dollar had a very strong night, particularly against the euro. So overall, equities up. Some of the commodities down, but those primary inputs such as oil and copper remained relatively stable. But anyway, let's just have a quick look at some of the numbers, and then we'll move on to some of the trades. Okay. I guess the most important thing here is what's happening. The Dow's up 35 points. It's just closed at 10,304, which is quite a positive. Europe was also quite positive as well. The Stoke was up 1.52%, and the FTSE was up 0.62. The DAC up 1.01%. The CAC up 1.53. So pretty positive on that front on the equity side, and that's good. As mentioned, stocks and dollar gain on economic outlook, Treasury fall on Fed minutes, that's something. US factory orders output, home starts exceed forecasts, and that's in a sign that the recovery is intact. So a little bit of optimism still there in the market, and that's obviously going to keep prices well buoyed. And you can see that Dow looked quite nice as well. Also in Europe, it looks quite good as well. I think people are discounting the threat of the contagion caused by sovereign debt. And people are looking quite optimistic. So I think that's certainly a positive thing. Okay, righty-ho. So that's looking at the just the overall market. Now, how did various other markets interact to all that news? And let's just have a look here. Go back one page there. But I guess if we take a look at the currencies, let's lead with the dollar index first. And as you can see, we've got quite a decent bounce. Quite a decent bounce on that US dollar. So it's still stuck within a range. The top side there is around that 80.70 and the bottom side at 79.60, 79.50. So quite strong there, and we did have quite an effect on the euro. But as you can see with the euro, it came off under a lot of pressure. But comparing that to the Aussie dollar, which is back up above 90, you can see that that Aussie there is still quite strong. And although it did come off a little bit, and not nearly as much as some of the other currencies. So I think that's still a very good sign for that Aussie, that it can go sideways even when the US dollar is firming, which indicates that the Aussie is actually trading by itself. Remember, the Aussie goes up the stairs and down the escalator. So far at the moment, she appears to be trading, and I think we would add 2 positions on a breakthrough 90.30 or 90.40. Okay, let's have a look at some of the softs now, and as we run through it, crude had an interesting night, up 0.48 and up 0.62%. There it is, looking quite strong. We've got the Department of Energy numbers tonight, so it'd be pretty close to that as to what's going to occur there. A break through that 78 area, you can probably add on positions because I feel that it can continue to trade onwards and upwards. Still look quite good. Copper, just touching that high last night at 325, still looking quite good as well, and expectations are for that to keep on travelling. Remember, the US and China's obviously on a bit of a break, but whilst these housing starts look quite good in the States and IP looks positive, then you've got to assume that copper in itself will continue to trade higher. So we've got to be quite positive on that. Just having a look at that quick daily chart on copper, as you can see, this momentum indicator still looks quite strong. So we're long from about that 300 or 295. So we're quite happy to hold on to those positions at the moment and can't see a bit of a turnaround. Although we will get a correction, but we're in from good levels, so sometimes it's nice just to hold on to them. Okay, having a look at gold. Gold did have a little bit of a dip purely on the back of what was happening there with the dollar. Indicators still look quite positive for gold. We're still quite positive as long as it holds above that 1100. That's the daily chart. Looks good. Broken that trend, as we've mentioned. So any pullback to 1100 should be viewed as a positive, and I'll probably expect it still to trade up to that 1150. We did take some profits last night on gold. I was quite happy about that. We saw a spike. We came off the market, so we're just travelling at the moment with a smaller position, really seeing what's going to occur with the commodity. but overall we continue to like it. Onto the softs now, just corn, wheat, soya all came back, purely on the back, I think, of the US dollar trade, because there's still a lot of US dollar players there, but we're still in good territory there, and expectations are that it should continue. If it breaks below 350, we'll only view it as an area to get in again. I think the idea on corn and soy is to keep an eye on the daily charts. There's corn at the moment. We're right still down the bottom end, so we might get a bit of weakness, but I don't think too much. The same story goes with soybeans, as you can see, right on its lows, and also wheat right on its lows as well. So still quite positive on what we feel is going to occur there. Righty-ho, now just looking at the local market, local SPI obviously up 2.67%. As we mentioned there in the last couple of meetings, expectations are for it to trade to 4,700. I think that is still intact, and we'll probably see it even perhaps a little bit higher as a result of that even. But whether or not this is the start of a new trend is really yet to be seen. We've got a little bit of perspective there by looking at the weekly chart. It's just coming up there, and you can really see that we could, if we do take out that, head all the way back up into this range, and that's 4,800. So stay close to that, but at the moment we feel that we're quite optimistic towards our equity prices. Righty-ho, let's have a quick look at the economic calendar for tonight. And the most important thing today is we've got NAB Business Consumer Confidence. Right, let's just get rid of that. NAB Consumer Confidence, ANZ Consumer Confidence. And the most important ones, I think, are in the States, where we've got producer prices, initial jobless claims, leading indicators, and, of course, all that very important DOE data. So quite important from that perspective. So it could be quite an interesting night. So just in a quick summary, expect our local market to trade a little bit higher, probably get a little bit more benefit out of the oil and the base metal sector, so that's quite positive. Aussie, let's see what happens there. Remember, we took some profits on gold. We're still long Aussie, and we're still long gold, and we're still long some of the grains. But let's see how it all trades. That's about it from me for today. Hope you have a good day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.